Thank you, Lord Mayor. This morning I was thinking about what to say here at this special meeting of a full council. Most of all, I would like to say clearly and simply the gratitude I feel towards the Queen and reflect on what she meant to me as a citizen and as a public representative. Clement Attlee said that we in Britain are lucky. We have, as a head of state, a person who is not the choice of one section of the people, but is the common possession, so to speak, of them all. As usual, Clem was right. I think the Queen did us an incredible service, not only in her role as a sort of super Lord Mayor, attending events every day, the hours she poured into her work, an impossible example for all of us here. I think her greatest service, actually, was making herself, in Attlee's interesting phrase, a common possession. She divested herself of opinions and causes so that we all equally could feel that she was here for us today in the ways that we've already heard about from other people's tributes. She made herself a tribune for ancient principles, stoicism, duty, services to one's community. Unchanging principles in fast-changing times. She gave dignity and meaning and weight to those principles and helped put them at the centre of public life. She could speak earnestly about such things, an earnestness that I think many politicians who, after all, represent a section of the people would feel quite uncomfortable with. And she has been that earnest voice for us for over 70 years. That's an act of personal sacrifice that actually I struggle to get my head around. When I think of what the Queen means to people, I think of her Christmas broadcasts, an annual ritual that gave us all space to reflect on moral questions and on the need to look to our neighbours' needs before our own private profit. I think of the Jubilee celebrations I attended in my ward and in mosques and in churches and social clubs across the city. The role she had in giving us an excuse to get together as a community and how she lent dignity to our collective life. Last of all, I wanted to reflect on something that is sometimes said about our late Queen, which is that people admire her, if perhaps not the institution. That's a reasonable opinion, and it's a personal one. I have a different opinion. I think that the Queen, Elizabeth the Great, was great not in spite of the institution of constitutional monarchy, but because of it. I don't think that's doing her a personal injustice. I hope instead it highlights her self-sacrifice in making herself a common possession, which is what the form of constitutional monarchy she embraced and advanced allowed. That form of constitutional monarchy is, I think, her greatest achievement. Returning again to Clement Attlee, writing on the death of King George VI, he said, "I mourn his death, but I believe that in Queen Elizabeth we have a successor who will follow in the fullest degree the example set by her father." He was right. Now King Charles, in his first speech to the nation and the Commonwealth, explicitly said that he would follow his mother's example, leaving behind the campaigns and causes he worked on to become a figure of unity and to be simply a tribune of the principles of duty and service. We have lost our Queen, but we have not lost what she stood for. I think the best tribute we can pay to the Queen is to say, we mourn her death, but in King Charles we have a successor who will follow in the fullest degree the example set by his mother. God save the King.
Councillor Richards.